Good afternoon. My name is Bryce Smith.
And I'm Daniel Beamer.
I'm Samantha Giannotti.
I'm Caitlin Taylor.
I'm Alex Goodson.
I'm Brett McIntyre.
This will be our subject presentation proposal.
So our subject house is located at 909 Tudor Drive, Toms River, New Jersey. It is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with 1,494 square feet. It has been recently renovated, contains a fenced-in backyard, and has a 1-car garage.
So for the sales history, our subject home was originally sold to the current owners in June of 2008 for $300,000. And then it was listed again by the current owners in February of this year for $340,000. The price was then lowered to $325,000 again in February, and then lowered in March of 2020 this year to $315,000. We would like to note that when we started the appraisal report, it was at $325,000, but we have made note throughout the project that it's been lowered to $315,000.
So a little bit about the market of Toms River. Toms River is located less than an hour and a half away from New York City and Philadelphia, making it a great town for people who need to commute, and also just a lot of job opportunities between those two cities. The subject home is within walking distance to the beach and the local grocery store, and the nearby schools are between 1 and 2 miles away, making Toms River a great place to have a family. The demand and market size. So Toms River is a buyer's market, meaning there are more houses for sale than there are buyers. This is really good for people who are looking to buy a house in Toms River, but makes it a little bit more difficult for people trying to sell their homes. There are 92,093 people living in Toms River right now, with a 79% home ownership rate, 11% renters rate, and a 10% vacancy rate. The median home value in Toms River is $240,815, and homes are expected to increase by 3.6% within the next year. Some economic indicators are Toms River has a 4.4% unemployment rate as of February 2020, which is greater than the U.S. average unemployment rate of 3.9%. And the family median income for Toms River is $92,604, which is greater than the U.S. median income of $70,850.
For the sales comparison approach, the average sale price of the comparables before adjustments were made was around $305,000. The average price per square foot was about $200, and then we made some adjustments for the year that the comparable property was built compared to the subject property, whether or not it was located in the suburbs or on the water, the size of the comparable property in square feet, whether or not it had a pool or not, and how many attached garage spaces it had. So after all those adjustments, we found that the average sale price of the comparables was about $269,000, and the average price per square foot was about $180. And since, as Alex was saying earlier, the property has been decreasing in value, this shows the accuracy of our valuation and that they probably priced their home too high. That we made was for the location of the home, and it was about $175,000 difference for the home that was located on the water versus the rest of the comparables. And the smallest adjustment that we made was the size of the home in square feet. Most of the comparables were pretty similar in square footage, so we didn't really have to make too many adjustments for that. And then after the adjustments, we see that the subject property is probably priced too high by about $56,000. And the downward trend just shows that it's going to keep decreasing in value.
For the cost approach, we first started out by estimating the replication cost of the home, which was the cost to construct a new home in Toms River, which came out to be around $239,000. And once we had this, we were to subtract the accrued depreciation, which we divided the replication cost of the useful life of the home, which we first estimated to be around 100 years for normal houses in Toms River, but since our subject house, was recently renovated inside, we added another 20 years to its useful life. And then we multiplied this by 49, which is the number of years since the house was originally built, to get a total depreciation of $97,719. And then we added the estimated value of the land, which we calculated by finding the average cost per acre of land in New Jersey. And we multiplied this number by the lot size of our subject house, which was 1/4 of an acre, to get $49,100. And once we added this to the depreciation cost of the building, we got our final indicated value, which was $190,692.
For the direct capitalization approach, it was a simple calculation only because we only needed two tools. We only needed Zillow and a valuation tool called apartment property valuation. And the way this tool works is we just got a few numbers from Zillow, like, the monthly rent, and we plugged them into this tool, and it calculated everything for us. And you can see the calculations below in this picture. So the final indicated value for direct capitalization was $148,982. As far as discounted cash flow goes, we decided to go with a 10-year holding period just to keep things simple. We use a discount rate of 3.1% because this is the interest rate for a 10-year fixed mortgage in Toms River. We think this provides an unbiased opinion or number of what someone could expect to pay in Toms River. So in those numbers, we did the calculations, as you can see in this picture below, and came out with an indicated value of $195,912.
Okay, for our final value estimate, we weighted each of the previously discussed methods by weight we thought was appropriate for evaluating residential property. So the sales comparison approach got 75% of the weight. We feel that this is an appropriate approach to gauge market value on residential properties because the information is readily available and it's fairly accurate. And the cost approach was given 15%. Cost approach is not always the best because it's usually used more for apartments or income producing properties like shopping malls. And then that was income. So income is mainly used for income producing properties. Those are each given 5%. That's like rent at apartments or resident or commercial real estate. And the cost approach was only given 15%. This is because the cost approach is usually used for unique buildings that are hard to replace with anything that's currently found on the market. So once we weighted each of those, we got a final value estimate of $247,523,000. So we felt this was a good estimate, and it's a little bit lower, as you will see, but we feel confident in the way that we calculated it.
So as Alex just stated, our estimate was a little bit lower than Zillow and Redfin. So Zillow estimated the home value to be at $311,378, and Redfin estimated the home value to be $308,018. And then finally, our estimate again is $247,523. So our estimate was lower, but we do feel that it is accurate. And just another side note is that when we started the appraisal, the subject home was listed at $325,000, but has since gone down to $315,000. We believe that our home was slightly overpriced and that the home will sell closer to our estimate of around $250,000.
And obviously, taking everything into account, we also have to worry about how the recent outbreak of COVID-19 has affected the housing market in New Jersey. As of April 8th, there are about 44,000 confirmed cases in New Jersey out of the United States 395,000 total cases. This makes New Jersey the second most infected state in the entire country, following New York. So last month, as of March 21st, the governor issued a stay-at-home order and shut down all non-essential businesses. What this means is that most people aren't going to be out and about shopping for homes at the time being. As of March 28th, 4% of the US labor force had filed for unemployment. This number is actually slightly higher in New Jersey, where about 4.5% had filed for unemployment. Obviously, throughout the semester, we've been talking about COVID-19. We were watching some movies to get an idea of how we can compare COVID-19 and how it's affected the economy to the 2008 financial crisis. I can go on and on about what the individual movies did, but the main takeaway that they all shared is that the 2008 financial crisis boiled down to having very high unemployment numbers and a very large drop in the stock market. So obviously, from the high employment, many of the markets are going to be slowing down because families don't have the funds to actually go out and shop for homes. And because of the hits to the stock market, many people are losing their investments and are going to be more conservative in how they're actually spending their cash. And as a result, the housing market could see a few possibilities in New Jersey and in the country in general. In New Jersey, locally for the Toms River area, we had noticed a slight trend in rising prices over the past about a decade or so. So that could continue as normal. It could be that people are going to see COVID-19 as a temporary threat and the market is just going to continue as it is. It's always a possibility. Another outcome could be that the house prices are going to drop because sellers on the market are getting desperate to try and sell their home. The third option, one that I think is probably more likely, and we all kind of were in agreement on this, is that the market might just freeze in place and that nothing is going to happen. Prices are going to stay where they are until COVID-19 is removed as a threat completely, at which point the market might resume as normal, whether that be rising or dropping. That kind of depends on the market as it stands at that point.
One of the strengths of the sales comparison approach was that all of the comparable properties at the beginning, before our adjustments, were pretty different in sale price, but we were able to adjust all the properties and have the adjusted values be pretty close to each other, minus one of them was a little lower than the rest. One weakness was that one of the comparables was much newer than the subject property, so it took a big chunk of the adjustment out of that property's value. And then another weakness is that some of the adjustments were more difficult to make than others, depending on what information we had and how we had to go about researching the rest of the information.
With the cost approach, it was not the best approach to use on our subject property, since it's more for unique buildings like libraries that don't have many comparables to get an estimate with. So I don't think this was the best approach for us, and we may have assumed too much depreciation in our calculation when deciding the useful life on the home, and this could have a big impact on the final indicated value that we got using this approach.
So some strengths of the income approach include, the fact that the apartment valuation website or tool made calculations really easy. That was mostly because, most of the numbers that we needed were given on Zillow. So, we didn't have to go too far to look for these numbers. But a downfall, of this income approach is that indicated values were much lower than the asking price on Zillow and Zillow's estimate. So, maybe this isn't the best approach to use for this. And I guess it shows in the, weighting that we did.
All right. That does it for our presentation about our subject property. Did you guys have anything else that you wanted to add before we sign off?
Nope.
All right. That'll do it for us then. Thank you guys so much for watching.